Welcome to the Car Guys, and this week, full update on all the cars, a good old rummage around the garage, what cars are staying, what are going, what ones have already left, and a full update of everything that's happened to them over the last year. You ready for this? Let's get on with it then. Welcome back to the Car Guys. That's right, it's a full garage update. I'm going to take you through each car in turn, tell you exactly what's happened to it in this year. It's been an interesting year actually for the garage. We have had some new cars coming in as well as some leaving, and also we've had some fettling going on as well, which is not something I normally do, but this year there have been some enhancements made to some of the cars. Now, as it's winter, you'll see that a lot of the cars have got battery chargers on to keep them tip-top whilst I'm not driving them as often. I do try and rotate all the cars where possible, but some of them, I have to confess, this year have got very little wheel time. Sorry for that. As you can see, it's quite an eclectic garage. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. I don't collect all the same types of cars. I don't collect them all in the same colour. I tend to just find things that I like or that speak to me, or things I like from my childhood. That's kind of the rule, really. The rule is there is no rule. I'm going to take you through all the cars that are currently in the Car Guys garage. I'm going to give you an update on them. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's happened to them in the last year, and hopefully that'll answer all your questions about what the state of the garage is and what's happening in the future. Some of your favourites are still here, some of your favourites have gone, but I'm sure that you will appreciate the fact that the Car Guys garage is a moving feast. Things are coming in and out, lots of excitements, so let's get straight into the full update. And the first car that we're going to talk about today is the Porsche 911 GT3 Touring. One of my absolute favourites, a real keeper. It's done over 12,000 miles now. It's also had its first service done at Portsmouth Porsche. Since I've owned the car, I've obviously put in the houndstooth pattern seats, and I've decided pretty much to keep the red dials. Now, as many of you know, this is not the exact spec that I would have chosen. That car has just been bought by a fan of the Car Guys from Romans International, but I have grown to seriously love it, and I just think it is the perfect modern 911. At the moment, I'm just looking for the battery charger, which has gone AWOL, but I'm going to be keeping this car and enjoying it forever. Now we've got the McLaren 675 LT in chicane grey. This car's done around about 6,000 miles. I have not driven it this year as much as I would like, mainly because of lockdown and the lack of track days, but also time commitments as well, because of course now I've also started the CarGuys.TV channel, so that's taking up some of my spare time. But it is and remains one of the greatest cars ever made by any manufacturer, not just McLaren. It's an incredible track weapon. I have considered selling it and moving it on, but as many of you know, the value of these has dropped quite severely in the last couple of years, so they are quite a bargain at the moment, and actually many fans of the Car Guys have snapped up 675s in the last 12 months, and rightfully so. So there are an awful lot of them in the hands of Car Guys fans, perhaps thanks to the exposure that this car has had. You're welcome, McLaren. Past the Henry's Hoover we got there to try and keep the floors clean. And then we're on to my beautiful and original Honda NSX. This is one of the earliest cars in the UK. It is silver with a black roof. It's a manual car. It's done, I think, something like 68,000 miles. Now, this is a real contender for least driven this year, partly because it's parked in the corner here, but I've just not managed to get it out, which I'm pretty ashamed about. Now, it has been fully serviced. However, if you are, or you know of, a supreme independent Honda NSX specialist, please get in touch, because I am sick and tired of dealing with Honda main dealers for my cars, and after this one was scratched, I decided I was never going to use them again. So I'm looking for one of the top experts for Honda NSXs to look after this going forward. So if you know that person, or you are that person, please get in touch as soon as possible. This car's obviously benefited from a huge paint correction detail this year, courtesy of First Choice Detailing. I just wanted to make sure that all the little scratch and imperfections, and obviously the scratches caused at the main dealer were rectified. Since I've had the car, I've replaced a lot of the sort of cloudy lenses that you get on this. I've given it quite a bit of fettling and love, and now it is in quite superb condition, and it's a fantastic drive. Love this car, never want to get rid of it. Now what have we got here, eh? This is a lesser known Lamborghini Gallardo Valentino Balboni. This car is an animal, and the main thing that's happened to this car, apart from it being serviced of course this year, is that it was borrowed by James from JM on Cars YouTube channel for one of his videos. So this one has at least been driven properly this year. Again, not a huge amount by me, but it has had a good old run this year. It still has less than 10,000 miles on it. It's still right-hand drive, and it's a manual car. So out of all of the Valentino Balbonis, this is the one you want. Will I get rid of this car in the future? I think there's a distinct possibility, because I just do not drive it enough. So this may well be leaving the garage in 2021. Hello, hello, hello. What's this? This, my friends, is a Renault Clio Williams 2. Regular viewers of the channel will know that I impetuously bought this from Fast Classics, part of the Octane collection this year. I've never had a hot hatch before, so I thought, why not go for one of the very best? And this car has done only 6,000 miles. Has it been driven a lot this year? Well, because of weather and because of lockdown, no, but it's definitely going to get driven a hell of a lot more in the next 6 months. The only thing that has happened really is that I put new tyres on this car, and in doing so, the people installing them scratched those lovely gold wheel caps. So I'm not massively happy about that. Probably the mistake I made is that I followed Renault's recommendations for the types of tyre to go on this car, and I think they are absolutely shocking. So I probably need to put some super sticky rubber on this car and take it out on a nice hot day. And here we have the start of the Ferraris, ladies and gentlemen. This is the white 458 Italia that I've owned from new in 2015. It's done 15,500 miles. It's in Bianco Fuji. It's absolutely incredible to drive. So this year it's been serviced and kept tip-top, obviously. It's also had some corrosion fixed on the wheel arches, so that was done by Ferrari. So now it's looking absolutely pristine. I wouldn't have expected corrosion this early anyway, so it's a bit worrying, but that's now all been fixed. This car is due to be driven imminently by James from JM on Cars, who asked very nicely. I think it's one of the greatest modern Ferraris. It's a joy to drive. It's one of my absolute favourites, hence the mileage. Will it be going anywhere in 2021? Very possibly. At the moment I've got two 458s, and the other one, as you can see next to it, is quite a special one, so it may mean that this one has to go, so we shall see. This is a Ferrari 458 Speciale Aperta. It is, as you can see, in Giallo Triple Strato. It has a Nart stripe. I spec'd this car from new. I also picked it up from the factory. It means a great deal to me. I have no plans to ever get rid of it. I haven't driven it much this year, I have to confess, because of all the other things going on, but it is probably the best version of the best version modern Ferrari there's ever been. There are not enough words to describe how utterly gorgeous this car is. The profile when the roof comes down, just the whole look of it, and of course the screaming naturally aspirated V8. This is an absolute keeper. It's going nowhere, but it does need to be driven a lot more. Now I have three Porsche in my collection. I've got the 911 GT3 Touring, I have the 718 Spider, and I have this 1989 Turbo. This is the 930. It's in linen, which is a kind of light grey. It's done 30,000 miles, which is ridiculously low. It's also a 5-speed gearbox, only produced in 1989. It is the finest example of those early Porsche 911 turbos. It drives like new. At the moment, this car needs a full service and MOT, so I need to get that sorted, and if lockdown didn't keep happening, I would have got it sorted. It's going to be fettled again by Emblem Sports Cars. This car's not had anywhere near enough love this year, so I really need to drive this a hell of a lot more, which I promise to do. Now, you didn't think this had gone anywhere, did you, eh? This is my Ferrari 355 Spider. It's done a little over 30,000 miles, pretty much all of them done by me. It was my first ever Ferrari and I plan to keep it forever, despite the fact that it is ruinously expensive. So the last service I had for this car was enormous, and this year / start of next, I need to go through and replace a lot of the springs and suspension components. So still a lot of work to be done on this car. Again, not a car that I drive enough, but this is in beautiful condition and it's always going to be part of the collection. And what have we here? Only the newest addition to the Car Guys garage. This, of course, if you're a regular viewer, you will know, is my brand new 488 Pista Spider. The car that I've waited for more than 2 years is finally here. I've already taken it on an enormous road trip around the Alps. So this brand new car is currently got 2,600 miles on the clock. It is in pristine condition because of course it's completely PPF'd and protected. It's Grigio Ferro, it's got a gold and black stripe on it, and of course the interior is Cioccolato Alcantara. So because this is the new kid on the block, obviously I've been spending quite a lot of time in it. I absolutely love it. Eagle-eyed viewers out there will notice that the windscreen's been fixed. Yes! Probably the biggest news is that the F12 TDF has of course gone out of the garage, and that's with the Octane collection at the moment. Also, I've decided to move on the Challenge Stradale, which as you know was a real favourite of mine, but I just found that I was not driving it enough. But I've now got to the point where if I'm not driving the cars regularly enough, I'm seriously considering about moving them on and perhaps replacing them with cars that I will drive more often. So the Challenge Stradale is currently for sale at Meridian Modena in Lyndhurst. So check that out if you fancy a beautiful silver with factory stripe Challenge Stradale with only 20,000 miles, fastidiously maintained. And then of course there's my Porsche 718 Spider. Yes, it's still here. Yes, it's still got those seats which are very divisive. Many of you like them, many of you hate them, but it's still there and it still looks incredible, just like a 50s RSK Porsche, exactly how I wanted it to be. I've managed to do over 2,000 miles in this car now, despite the weather and my pledge to never put the roof up. And as you can see, it's completely filthy, just as it should be. The big thing that I've done with this car this year is I have fitted, at last, a more fruity exhaust. But I'll tell you all about that in a future episode. And of course, let's not forget my Mercedes S600 Maybach. This is one of my dailies. As you can see, unfortunately I parked it under a tree whilst I was driving the 488 Pista. I've just had this car fully serviced, so it cost me about 1,200 quid to get this car serviced on the big service. It does need a couple of arms on the front replaced, so that's going to be another 900 quid, but I don't begrudge it because it's such an incredible car and vital moving office for the Car Guys. This is of course my Honda Prelude VTEC. This is in quite a sorry state at the moment. Unfortunately, I've not been driving it, and there's a very good reason for that. It's because the alternator's gone, so the battery's dead, and any new battery that I put in gets drained pretty quickly. So I need to get that work done. I've been foolish and not got it done straight away, so the car unfortunately has languished here a bit. I never like my cars in this sort of condition, so this does pain me quite a bit, but unfortunately I've been quite busy this year and not got round to it. And unfortunately, life's been not too good this year for my BMW 750. This, as you know, is a car that I absolutely love, and I've driven this many miles, but I've really let this car go this year because of everything else that's been going on. Things that need to be done on the 750, still need to get a new wing mirror, which was smashed off by a truck driver. I need to get a new windscreen, which has got a big old crack on it. I need to take this blue wrap off and take it back to its original silver, and then I just need to detail it and make it look lovely. But mechanically, again, it's still pretty good underneath. It's still a very low mileage example, probably the lowest mileage that you'll find. It's still an amazing car, but of course now that I've got the Maybach, poor old 750 has been left a little bit, and that's pretty sad. This, folks, is my Land Rover Series 2A. It's short wheelbase, it's convertible. I absolutely love it. It's just got so much character. This year's been a bit eventful for this little car. The brakes failed. That's right. I decided to take this car for a quick drive down to the pub. It was one of the few journeys that it made. The sun was shining. It was going to be one of those greatest days of my life. And then I drove it down the drive, and guess what? The brakes utterly failed. So I almost had a catastrophic accident and unfortunately crashed into some gates. So this Land Rover, as you can see here, look how beautiful it is. Look at that. This beautiful Land Rover has just had an enormous service. It's just been fully fettled, brakes are fixed, everything's working pristine, and Jason and I will be doing quite a special episode on this coming soon. And look what we got here. It's my Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe. Very rare car, very desirable, absolutely beautiful, elegant, imperious, you name it, this car's got it. This year it needed a big service and I decided to take it out of a main dealer environment and to a trusted specialist. So I actually took this to Silver Lady in Bournemouth. They are a very well respected and long running family business that's been going since I think 1974. They were very excited to work on this car, and they did a fantastic job. They also noticed, incidentally, that the previous main dealer servicer had not bothered to do up the rear suspension properly, which is a little bit of a worry. I've probably only driven it a handful of times this year, but everyone has been a delight. So again, I'm going to try and drive this a lot more in 2021, but it's definitely going nowhere. So there we are. That's the Car Guys garage as of November 2020. This year the Clio Williams 2 has arrived, and also the 488 Pista Spider. We'll do a full recap at the end of the year of all the cars we said we were going to get versus the ones that we actually did. But I hope this has been useful and informative to show you what cars we've got and why and what's happened to them this year. Running a car garage like this is of course phenomenally expensive. It requires an awful lot of admin, and you've also then got to drive the cars to keep them going perfectly as well. So there's a big commitment in running a garage of this size, and to be honest, I'm a little bit stupid for doing it. Because you do have to ask, does one man really need 17 or 18 cars? Oh yes, the answer is yes. Okay, brilliant, the answer is yes. Okay, thanks a lot, bye. No, of course the answer is no. No man really needs to own this many cars, but I guess if you can, then why not? The one with the most toys at the end wins. This garage brings me a lot of pleasure, it gives me a lot of cars to drive, and of course cars and watches are my passion. And I'm conscious, incidentally, that I've not covered all of Jason's cars because they're obviously kept in a different facility. However, at the moment, he has scaled down his collection in order to renovate his house. But there is going to be some interesting news on Jason's cars coming soon. Not least, an exciting new addition for 2021. I'm sure you'll agree, quite an eclectic bunch of cars. Obviously, a lot of them are supercars and sports cars because those are the ones I enjoy the most. But to be honest, anything could be added in the future. And actually, coming up relatively soon, there is a car that you will definitely not expect. Thanks very much for watching this latest episode and garage update. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it useful. If you like what we're doing on the Car Guys channel, please subscribe. It gives us a massive morale boost, and we're on our way now to 100,000 subs. That's our next target. Please click the like button on any videos that you like, and feel free to comment because you know that we read them all and we respond to many of them. And there will be another Car Guys episode along next week.